All right, man. Torture Talk. Like, share, subscribe to the page. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the content. So look, man. Yeah, this is gonna be a really interesting episode. A lot of things I gotta say. Um, so today's episode, I'm gonna be talking about Meg Thee Stallion actually admitting that she lied to Gayle King. And what's the ramifications of this? Her lies, and are people still gonna protect her? Even though we know that she just admitted that she lied, we all knew she was lying when she said that she never dealt with Tory like that. But yet and still, we don't need to even get into all that yet. But just let's just say we gave her a pass. Most people gave her a pass, and then look what happens. So look, before we get into that, let me get my spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. I'll be doing some wild stuff over here sometimes. Hey man, listen, it's to keep people entertained. You know what it is. All the beautiful, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones at. Just don't harass them. If you're new here, all the sexy ladies, they always put one in the chat. Single sexy ladies. So if you're new here and you about that, you about something, you know what I mean? It's like pop the balloon over here. You know what I'm saying? Pop the comments. You know what I mean? I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, links on the screen, Cash App, PayPal's in the description. Thank you for all the donations. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everybody sending donations. I really do, man. It really is a good thing for me. Thank you. Appreciate it. And let me know where you from too. They call me the hidden gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers to over 12,000. About to be 12,100 real soon. And yeah, by the end of the night probably. Feels pretty good. Um, yeah. So we're gonna get into this clip, man, and we'll be back to discuss. All right, so let's get it.
If I lied to Gayle King, first of all, I didn't know that you were going to ask me about it. She's always want to talk about the shooting. Why'd you ask me about the story? That's not what this is about. Even if I was once, maybe twice on drunk night, but you kept catching me out of my.
And did you have an intimate relationship with him?
Like sexual?
Yeah. Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
So why do you think he's putting out the story that the two of you had a relationship and that you're making the whole thing up?
I think that he is trying to deflect from the fact that he committed a crime.
And this is why I got trust issues. I don't.
Wow. I seen that interview a long time ago. And now watching it now and after she said that makes it look even worse. Wow. I think that he is trying to deflect from him doing a crime. The man said y'all was in a relationship. Y'all was on camera together on, I believe, his live a couple of times. And then you say on your documentary that you did have a sexual relationship with him, and you don't know why she asked you that. Because it wasn't about him. It was about him. That was the whole reason why you was on her show. The whole reason why Meg was on Gayle King's show is because of what happened to you by Tory Lanez. This is what makes me so mad. Because it's like, when are we going to hold these certain people to the same standard we hold everybody else to? This woman is a liar. Y'all knew she was lying from the beginning. Y'all still protected her. Y'all still defended her. She's been lying. I'm not saying that nothing happened to her, but I'm saying she's been lying. How can you believe something that this person's saying if they've been lying? It doesn't make sense. You can't sit here and tell me that if someone lies to you, how you gonna sit there and say, well, they lied about this, but they told the truth about that. It's like you have to bring everything into question, especially if you wasn't there. If you wasn't there and a person told you a story and you found out they was lying, can you believe anything they said? Can you believe anything they said? If they told you a story that was a lie and then you found out they were lying, you wasn't at the story, you wasn't there, can you believe any part of the story that they say? Can you believe? It just seems to me like a lot of people, they want to give Meg Thee Stallion a pass or the grace because her name and who she's associated with. That's what I believe.
I don't believe anything, like I've always said. I don't believe anything that's coming out of anybody's mouth when it comes to accusing somebody of a crime by default. And this is why I always say innocent until proven guilty, because how can you still lock somebody up when the credibility of the person that's accusing him is now in question? Because the first thing that she went to do was she went to kill his reputation in the court of public opinion in order to slant the media towards him and to slant people towards him, which then affects the people that is determining his fate as far as whether he's guilty or innocent. And then at the same time, I still don't even believe that he shot her. You went on Gayle King before the trial even started. Now, we're not even debating whether she lied or not, or whether we believe that she lied or not, because we already established that from the beginning. I said from the beginning that I believed, my personal belief was that she was lying. But now that this documentary is coming out, that
I said the same thing. I said the same exact thing. I watched the trial. I watched the whole thing. I watched the people come up. I watched the witnesses. I watched the guy basically said that Tory wasn't the one that shot her. I watched how the evidence came back saying that he had no gunpowder residue on him. I watched all of it. I watched all of it. I watched how people did mental gymnastics trying to make it seem like he still did something. I watched how these fake wannabe lawyers, these armchair Facebook lawyers came out and said certain things that wasn't true, and all of this equals up to her lying. You know what I'm saying? All of this came back to her lying. I watched how her friend got immunity and she got on the stand, and it's like, what do you need immunity for? If you ain't do nothing, why you need immunity? You ain't do nothing. What you need immunity for? You was just there. What do you need immunity for? According to Meg Thee Stallion, Tory was the one that did it to her. So why do you need immunity? That doesn't make sense. What did you have some charges? Like, what was it? Her friend
is of her admitting that she went on Gayle King, did not expect for Gayle to ask her that question, and then she paused. She was like, because if you had never did nothing with nobody, you just automatically by default be like, man, no, what are you talking about? Of course I did not. That don't even have nothing to do with it. That's just my homeboy. Like, you don't even pause.
Because she knew she was lying from the beginning, and she didn't want to make it seem like she did do something with Tory. And because basically what it was, her and her friend had an argument. This is with the story I read. They had an argument, allegedly. They had an argument, and they was the one that was fighting. Wasn't her and Tory. Tory broke up the fight between the two. Plus, she don't want to make it seem like she's out there like that, even though she admits to being out there like that. And on top of that, I don't know. Meg Thee Stallion, to me, it's a lot to even say, because I just think that she's one of the worst people that I ever seen in the music industry when it comes to things like this. I think what she did was terrible. You know what I'm saying? I think what she did was very bad. You know what I'm saying? I think that she knows it, and it's gonna come down on her eventually. She knows in my opinion and how I feel like she lied on that man, and she knows she lied on him. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why she's coming clean. She want to get ahead of it now, because eventually the truth is gonna come out, and then everybody's gonna say, "Well, she admitted it anyway, so she said she lied." It's like, why do y'all believe her? Y'all shouldn't have believed her from the beginning. Her story was, she had 3 different stories. Then you get the report back, and ain't no bullet fragment in her foot. Oh, there was a bullet fragment in her foot. I looked that all up. I ain't find nowhere. Oh, well, the hospital covered it up. Why would the hospital cover something like that up if that's in her favor? That doesn't make sense. Why would the hospital do that? Why would they cover up something that's in her favor? I even seen somebody online say, it's how stupid people is. They said, well, you gotta understand, when they do these autopsies, an autopsy on her foot. All right, dog. I just logged off. I logged off. I logged off Facebook.
You don't think about it. You don't do all of that extra. And then, the tears with the crying down tears and stuff. And so it's one thing to suspect it, but not to 100% know it, but to hear it admitted out of the person's mouth is a whole nother thing. Now, I know it's people on social media that's sitting there talking about, well, that still don't have nothing to do with whether or not he's guilty. The credibility of the person that's accusing you absolutely should come in question, because all we have is your word. And that's the reason why the Me Too movement is flawed. That is the reason why they market to us, believe all women by default. So you telling me you can convict people without no evidence whatsoever? Multiple people that was there, the only eyes that were there, is calling into question what really happened.
And that's my question to all the ladies on this that jumped on this video. Yeah, I don't know where we get that idea from. Believe all women. Um, is that something that you ladies is okay with? Like, look, all right. So let me give y'all an example, right? Because I know a lot of y'all take some things the wrong way, right? So let me give y'all an example. If your son, ladies, was accused of something, does the statement "believe all women" still stand? If you know your son didn't do it, because I think a lot of y'all, y'all okay with things happening to other people. Well, when it happens to you, you're not okay with it. So, and that's nothing against women. I'm just asking a question. Do the phrase "believe all women"? Are y'all okay with that when it comes to something that may happen to your son, and you know your son didn't do it, or he say he didn't do it? Is that okay? Is it okay then?
All women by default? So you telling me you can convict people without no evidence whatsoever? Multiple people that was there, the only eyes that were there, is calling into question what really happened? And I'm just supposed to just go along to get along? Why? Because I want people to like me. And when this whole thing came out, people was calling me crazy. No, you need to get on board. The same thing that's happening with this election. And in hindsight, it's right. And it's unfortunate because most times people's lives are ruined. And we've seen this happen with false accusations. And now, in a lot of instances, we have technology to be able to prove that things that's happening in the past, it's people that's getting out of jail as a result of the Innocence Project every single day.
Now, I will say this. There's a certain demographic of people who do believe that anything a person says, they believe it. Now, my question to y'all is, if you knew that there was something, some people that were innocent, but would you keep your mouth shut about it? If you knew that there were some innocent people that you know for a fact, let's just say, for example, some woman said that something happened to her, and you knew the truth, would you mind your business and let that man serve 20 years in prison? That's the question that I have for y'all. And that goes for a man or a woman. Would you mind your business and let them serve 20 years if you knew the truth? Not well, he could have. No. If you knew the truth, would you stand up for that person, or would you let them just go to prison and rot?
And you know what happened to the person that accused them after they did 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Some of them have been on death row. You know what happened to the accuser or the false witness or the person that said that they seen him but they didn't see him? You know what's happening? Nothing. Nothing at all. So you can lie on somebody, ruin their life, and that's cool. I remember what happened to the Duke lacrosse team. It was that the woman that accused them of doing whatever it is that she accused them of, and all of those dudes' lives got ruined. It was a public spectacle. You know what got less coverage than the accusation? The fact that the girl was lying and the innocence. And so we give it zero attention to the lies, 100% attention to the accusation. automatically convict people in the court of public opinion, want them to be thrown under the bus. And now in the social media era, it's 10 times worse because you can't take it back. And it's not like it's not going to influence the case or influence the jurors or influence the judge that's on the case, because everybody is paying attention to everything. And when it's a national story, you are not guaranteed a fair trial, which is one of the flaws in the justice system. Now, you talking to a person that absolutely hates criminals, criminal activity, and the fact that we celebrate it in black culture. I love it when people snap.
That's a fact. We do celebrate criminology in the black culture. We really do. And I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he pointed that out. We do celebrate criminology in the black culture. We do. We do. We do protect people. We protect people we protect the criminals. We do. If something happened to somebody on the street, you don't want to snitch. We protect the criminals. Let's just keep it all the way 100. You could know that something happened to somebody and you won't even say nothing. Just the question I asked when it came to believe all women. But the flip side of that is they do that to men too. A lot of these dudes who do things, nobody says nothing. And you not saying nothing is kind of protecting them in a way. Maybe you want to mind your business. Who knows? But if somebody does something, you don't say anything. A lot of y'all just keep your mouth shut.
On themselves. I love it when people go to jail from telling on themselves and doing the wrong thing. This little Dirk thing is hilarious to me. The only reason it's not hilarious is because there's victims in it, but it's hilarious how he was so stupid that he threw his whole life away over some dumb stuff like that. It is the funniest thing in the world. I love it. But you know what I absolutely love more? Is the fact that I live in the good old United States of America and the justice system should prevail. I believe in the rule of law. And it is innocent until proven guilty, regardless of what you accused of with the whole YSL trial. Once you start seeing that judge and he was favorable and he was taking backdoor meetings and stuff like that, regardless of what they accuse him of, because we don't know if he's guilty or innocent. And again, I believe you need to get these criminals off the street, but I'm never going to send somebody to jail for life. Once you see crooked judges and crooked lawyers and, Fawny Willis and the Fulton County DA and all of this other type of stuff, and you start seeing this web of weave that's being tangled and it's all tied back to her flying up, then I'm like, man, what the heck is going on?
And I agree with that. There are some people who will try to drum up some things in the case to make people look more guilty than what they really are because they want to win. So if you ain't got a good lawyer, or even if you do have a good lawyer, there's some prosecutors who literally will make up stuff, and some detectives who work with the prosecutors to try to frame you or to try to not present certain evidence into the case, or they will have certain whatever. They just, usually that's what, not usually, but a good portion of them do that. Then you got certain, like with the whole thing with Young Thug, and the judge had to recuse himself. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy as hell that he took a backdoor meeting without his defense attorney, Young Thug defense attorney being there. Like, come on, man. And then he try to act as if like, you gotta tell me. I don't have to tell you anything. And I got an episode about Young Thug coming up too. So let's go.
Prosecutors and people and Nathan Wade that was on the case wasn't supposed to be doing it. They stealing money. I said, man, this is crazy. Man, this at the very minimum, it's a mistrial. And it's the longest trial in history. It's costing everybody their money. Man, come on, bro. At the minimum, it's a mistrial. At the max, they need to free this dude. You know why? Because they botched it. And anytime you see people that's not on the right side of justice, you got to go with the default. The default is it's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. And it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And when you can doubt the witness and the very person is went on Gayle King, and then they silence Tory and they say, hey, man, shut up. Don't say nothing. Not a word. Not nothing. Meanwhile, she had already killed his reputation on Gayle King and said that he was lying. and lied about the whole situation. Okay, so how do we decipher what part to believe and what part not to believe? How do we determine who's telling the truth and who's lying? Now, we know for a fact that you lying, but guess what? He already locked up and doing a dime in prison and probably going to be deported to Canada right after.
That's crazy. And he right about that. That man is already locked up doing time. And you basically went on and said that you lied. And now he's in prison and you lied. Whether you saying you lied about, so y'all did have a relationship. Then you try to play it off like, oh, maybe it was once or twice. Like I could look at Meg and I can just tell that she's a very difficult person and she is a manipulator. I'm telling you. She's a manipulator. You know what I'm saying? But let's see what else he got to say. Let me go get out of here.
It's unfortunate, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the fact that y'all keep telling us to believe people when we have a justice system. And I hate the fact that we got to call into question, the reliability of the person that's making the accusation. And then we get this footage and this stuff that come out. We got to revisit it. I hate when people say, well, why are we talking about it now? Because the same reason we talking about the people that's in the Innocence Project that didn't get redemption and is not getting the level of coverage when it came to their freedom and the fact that they was telling the truth or they was falsely accused, but we gave way more coverage to the time that people was accusing them, and then they got him locked up for the rest of his life or for the prime of his life. We should talk about it. We always should talk about the things that's wrong and try to right them. 100%.
And he right about that. Tory Lanez definitely deserves some justice because if you gave her friend immunity, what are you giving her friend immunity for? If she didn't have anything to do with it and she was just there, why she didn't just tell what actually happened? Certain questions she didn't want to answer and all this stuff. And we all know, everybody knows, and a lot of y'all know that Meg was lying from the beginning. Y'all know that. But y'all didn't care because y'all looked at the crime, but y'all didn't look at actually if it actually happened or not. Y'all just looked at what y'all thought and what she said. And she did the boo-hoo whining and crying type tears on television and all this stuff, knowing she was lying the whole time. It's crazy. But talking about something. And then she says, well, yeah, I had sex with him twice, maybe three times when I was drunk. Knock it off. Knock it off. The reason why she bringing up Tory now, because she know that shit's still haunting her. Still haunting her. You know what I'm saying? She knows it is. She knows she was wrong. But, yeah. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I never been the one that always was okay with believe anybody. Always wanted to look into what actually is. And I know a lot of times I have these takes on here and some of y'all disagree with my takes, but it's all good because that's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is a bad take. Oh, I didn't like this. Or I didn't like what you said here. I get it. You know what I'm saying? We just agree to disagree on certain things, but I do want to understand. I want y'all to understand that I'm no NPC. And if I believe something, I'm going to say I believe it. You know what I'm saying? If I don't believe it, I'll say I don't believe it. You're always going to get the truth out of me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to get up here and lie to y'all and tell y'all I don't like something when I know I don't like it, or tell y'all I don't like something when I know I don't like it, or tell y'all I do like something when I know I don't like it. I know that was a bunch of jumbled words, but still, I'm just being honest. You know what I mean. So, but yeah, man. I always felt like Megan Thee Stallion was a hypocrite, and I always felt like she's a manipulator. You know what I'm saying? And she's a part of that movement, that sexual liberation movement that give women a pass on certain things, and I just think it's messed up. I think it's not good. But either way, it is what it is. But yeah, man, I'm out of here. Y'all have yourself a good day. See y'all. Love y'all. Please, bye.